Hi there, students. Wheels within wheels. Okay, this is an idiom that means something is very complex. It's more complicated than it seems on the surface. That if you change one thing, this changes many other different things. So, there are hidden or unknown influences in a particular situation. So it might initially look quite simple, but there are actually wheels within wheels. There are things that make it more difficult and more complicated to do than you think. So in reaching an agreement in politics, there are always wheels within wheels. It's not just move this to here, because if you move this to here, then you change all sorts of other things as well. So wheels within wheels, it's talking about a situation which is very complex, perhaps overly complicated. You can say something is a wheel within a wheel. You can do it in the singular, but I've heard this much more often in the plural. There are wheels within wheels. It's very difficult to find out exactly who is responsible for this. The problem is there are wheels within wheels, and this is a responsibility that's shared between various different groups. So it gives the idea of complex interaction between various different wheels. I get the idea of different gears working together. Now, originally this phrase "wheels within wheels" comes from the Bible, from Ezekiel, and it says their appearance and their work was as if it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. But this is the idea. If there are wheels within wheels in a situation, it's much more complicated. There are many more different things involved than meet the eye. And each of the things influence each other. So in our culture, there are many complex things. It's wheels within wheels, and there are different hierarchies, different ways of getting things done, and different people in charge in different places. When we deal with spying, there are definitely wheels within wheels in the world of spying. There are wheels within wheels in this organization. You don't really know what's happening. There are wheels within wheels and permutations and combinations, and it's going to be very difficult to actually unravel all of it. Okay, so a wheel within a wheel, a complication of a circumstance, a little thing that actually is much more complicated than you can imagine. So this seems simple, but maybe there are wheels within wheels that we cannot imagine. Okay, so this is very often true in life or in different systems, that things are so complex that you change one thing and you change all sorts of other things, because normally in living systems everything is dependent on everyone else. So the problem seems simple at first, but there are wheels within wheels, and finding an easy solution is much more complicated. Yeah, there are wheels within wheels in this organization, and you never know what's going on. Okay, so yes, the story gets larger and longer and more complicated as it goes on. Wheels within wheels. You change one thing, changes something else, which changes something else, which changes something else. And this is the idea of wheels within wheels. I think I would give this 4.5 in formality. maybe a 5 in formality. I think you could probably use it anywhere. Okay, I'm in two minds about whether to use it in something very formal or not. But wheels within wheels.